Hello everyone, this is Supersnoopy here, back with another SWTOR video. Today I have guys another SWTOR discussion video. Today's SWTOR discussion video, we're going to be talking about skipping group cutscenes. So this is a topic that a lot of people seem to agree and disagree on, just depending on, what your preference is, and just people going through actual group content. So I just wanted to kind of go over this in a discussion video. So I hope you guys enjoy this SWTOR discussion video. As always, if you guys enjoy these videos, then make sure to leave a like. And if you guys want some gaming mints, then check the link in the description down below, Catalyst Gaming Mints. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I'll see you guys in the discussion. Alrighty guys, let's get into this discussion right now. So you may be wondering, what exactly do I mean by skipping group cutscenes? So whenever you're in a group in SWTOR Public, you have the option to click the spacebar while in a cutscene, which can allow you to skip a majority of the dialogue, just to go ahead and get through something a lot quicker. Now the reason I'm actually making a discussion video on this is it did something yesterday actually happened, which kind of raised the idea, and kind of I felt like made a good idea for an actual discussion video. So basically, my new friend is trying SWTOR Public, so he's like around level 20, so I wanted him to do a flashpoint, so I decided to actually do another tactical flashpoint, because yesterday I did make a highlight video just on tactical flashpoints, but I decided to do another one with him just to, kind of show how the group content actually works when you're in a 4-player group. So of course, it's a flashpoint he's never done whatsoever, so he's watching the cutscenes. And since he's watching the cutscenes, I decided that I wanted to as well. And one thing I noticed is that one person, it wasn't really that big of a deal, and it's completely understandable if someone was a bit irritated that, we weren't skipping. Which, I mean, once again, it's completely fine. I can understand why someone would be a bit irritated why, a player isn't skipping. But essentially, it did, raise the idea, about skipping cutscenes and not skipping cutscenes. So, I mean, a lot of people seem to get irritated when a player plays SWTOR Public, especially group content, and they don't skip the cutscenes. I mean, I, for one, am 100% A-okay with it. I know that a lot of times, people are just getting into a flashpoint, or they're starting the game, and they just want to play with an actual group. And I mean, that's fine. I think the issue is that sometimes people don't exactly want you to, play. I guess a lot of times a lot of people don't like the cutscenes since they've seen them so many times, or they are pretty current with the game. Basically, they're a veteran player. They don't really want to deal with the cutscenes and all that different stuff. Now this player did bring up the point when I actually asked him, or I said that what if I actually enjoyed watching the cutscenes. He did say you could do solo, which I mean that still is an option, but then again the issue really is of course I was playing with my friend. He's new to the game. I just wanted him to kind of get a taste of the group content. So there was that right there. So, I mean, once again, with my personal opinion, when it comes down to actual group content and all that different stuff and not skipping cutscenes, I'm 100% fine with it. I know that some people do get irritated by it. And my typical thing when I would do, Group Finder, since I haven't done it in forever, I only just started doing it again just recently, just actually finding a complete pug, not setting up outside of it. But, I mean, the one thing I always remember is I always have the expectations that someone is not going to skip a cutscene. And if you go with that mentality, you shouldn't have any issues. Because I think sometimes the players will just be completing a flashpoint because they want to complete the daily. They just want to complete a flashpoint, and then they just want to complete it really quickly, so they just aren't really willing to deal with people not skipping. Now, you could argue that me and my friend could have said in the chat that we were not going to be skipping cutscenes. Which it's true. I mean, you could have possibly said that, but then again, the one thing I don't really understand is since they do include it to actually, skip or not skip cutscenes or skip cutscenes, then I mean, there's just really an option right there. I think one thing, which it most likely will never happen, but one thing that could have been done in this game is you could have a checkbox or just something along the lines to say that you aren't there to really watch the cutscenes or anything. That would, likely remove some people. But, I mean, like I said, a lot of people don't really seem to have an issue with this. I just know that sometimes people don't really or just kind of sitting there, just doing nothing while someone is trying to play the game. So I mean, I can understand people's concern. I can understand why some people are irritated. That's 100% fine. But then again, I just really don't understand why some people just like have a really big issue with it. And once again, whenever you're doing a flashpoint or something in group content, you should always try to take into consideration like the what if someone decides not to skip. Because I know that if I'm in a hurry and I just want to quickly finish a flashpoint, and I'm assuming that someone's not going to skip cutscenes, then I just end up not really doing the flashpoint. Because if you do that, I can understand why people will get frustrated. I mean, a lot of people don't want to be sitting there 10 years just doing flashpoints and all that different stuff. But then again, you always have to take into consideration that not all players are just veterans doing stuff. There are just many different players, especially in this game. So you should always keep that in mind. Now, the one thing I can understand is if you are going to flashpoints and you're just like playing cutscenes for the sake of playing them, just kind of like the troll. Now I can understand why someone would be irritated. I mean, if you like have no reason to do it but to mess with other players, then that's kind of like a different story. But then again, if you actually want to like legitimately watch the cutscenes and also play in a group content, I feel like sometimes people should be a bit more understanding at times. Once again, I mean, it is kind of like a common tradition, especially in this game, that I mean, you do, of course, skip cutscenes. It's like the unspoken rule, at least in my opinion, that you should try to skip cutscenes when it's really necessary, because people like to complete content fast. But if someone doesn't want to skip, or they're refusing to skip since they want to actually play the content, then or actually kind of like see what's happening, then I feel like people shouldn't get aggressive, or they shouldn't really get irritated at their teammates. I believe that there is a kick function in flashpoints. I don't think, I'm not 100% sure. I've like never seen it actually being used. Or maybe I have. I just honestly don't remember. I believe there might be a kick function in ops groups, but then again, like I said, almost no one uses it, if that is even the case. Because let's be honest, why would you kick someone for just playing the game? Because I mean, even then at that point, if you do kick the person, then it's going to take a lot longer just to try to find a replacement, and then by that point, you're just already wasting some time. So my common thing is always take into consideration that someone will likely not be skipping the content, just in case you need to be somewhere pretty fast. Just also make sure that you know that a player might eventually do this. And if you are a player that actually plans on not skipping the contents or, you know, the cutscenes, you could possibly just let the chat know. The mistake I made with me and my friend is I didn't mention that we would actually be watching the cutscenes, and I think that's what caused the player to get a bit irritated. So you could do that, obviously, but if you don't want to, then it is understandable. Now you could say the argument to just play the content solo. The player actually did suggest this when I said, what if I want to watch the cutscenes? But I mean, once again, you have to take into consideration that I was playing with an actual friend. And let's be honest, I did once again want to show him kind of like the ropes of grouping. So of course, I'm just going to go in a group and actually play with other people. So that can work some of the time. So I mean, if you're solo, then that could work. But then again, if you want to play in a group, then you can, of course, watch the cutscenes. It's always, if just whatever you want to do. Because I mean, once again, I don't have an issue with it, but I know that some players do have an issue with it. So you should try to just keep that in mind, just in case you don't have, or you have people just getting irritated by it. But also there is the /ignore function, so if you get irritated by someone or someone's just having an issue with it, then you can always /ignore and move on. But anyways, guys, that's really it for this video. I do apologize since I do understand that I was all over the place with this discussion, but it is just a topic / idea that I really just wanted to kind of discuss, since it is something that recently was brought up, especially during my gameplay. So if you guys enjoyed this Star Wars Republic video, as always, if you guys enjoy these videos, then make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.